And as far as the Indian economy is not doing well, I think the president is ill-informed. We are the fastest growing economy in the world. France is screaming, Germany is screaming, Portugal is screaming, the entire European continent is absolutely in tears. They don't know how to manage illegal immigrants coming out of Africa. There is a housing crisis in New York because you've taken over hotels and put illegal immigrants there. There are places in America where you can't walk, it's so unsafe. You have crime, you have substance abuse, you have... Jain friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, don't forget to press the bell icon. President Joe Biden recently said that the reason why so many countries in the world like Russia, like China, like India, they are not progressing because they are anti-immigration and xenophobic. So when you think that your country is the center of the universe and the world revolves around your country and the country is most important and that is your attitude, this is exactly what Joe Biden was referring to. Thinking that your country is the most important thing in the world is, I don't think it's a negative, I think it's a big, big positive. I think like that. You can give me any fancy English term, but I don't care. So, friends, here's the thing. I'll tell you exactly what President Joe Biden said and then we'll discuss and debate. President Biden allegedly referred to India, China, Japan and Russia as xenophobic, linking their economic challenges to their reluctance to accept immigrants. Biden said it was xenophobia that was hurting the economic growth of these countries. Biden emphasized the significance of immigration of economic growth, contrasting these countries' policies with the US welcoming stance towards immigrants. And this is what he said. I'm reading it out so that you know exactly verbatim what the president of the US said. One of the reasons why our country is growing because of you and many others. Why? Because we welcome immigrants. Biden was quoted as saying at a fundraising event by Reuters, why is China stalling so badly economically? Why is Japan having trouble? Why is Russia? Why is India? Because they are xenophobic. They don't want immigrants. Immigrants are what makes us strong. So he was at a fundraising event coinciding with the start of the Asian American, Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And blah, blah. This is what Joe Biden said now. I think it's rather silly. I think age is catching up with the US president. Why is he saying that? I don't know. China is the number 2 economy in the world. And yes, China is having problems in its economy, but America has seen Wall Street crashes before. America has seen the Great Depression. And that was the peak time when immigrants were coming into America. Today they're talking about building a wall. Today they're talking about stopping Mexicans at the border. But the fact of the matter is there was a time when the entire American society, who are the original Americans? You know, they're the natives, which we know popularly as Red Indians. You know, the Mohicans, the Apaches, the Comanches, these were the guys who were originally inhabitants. All the white people in America came largely from Europe. So I don't know what Joe Biden is talking about, saying that we welcome immigrants, because now America does not welcome immigrants. And immigration has become one of the most, important talking points in the US elections. And so many Americans support building that wall that Trump wants to build, because they don't want... And India never says no to immigration. You see, I think Joe Biden has not been briefed properly. India does not say we do not want immigrants. We say that come to India legally. There is a legal route. You're welcome to come to India. You're welcome to settle in India. You're welcome to take Indian citizenship, but there is a legal route. You can't break the law and come to India. You see? And then why does the American state deport so many Mexicans if America welcomes everybody? And what is the sanctity of the American procedure of getting a citizenship? If illegal aliens are allowed to settle anywhere in any country. I cannot comment about China because that is China's problem. And I don't know about Japan or Russia. I don't have that kind of exposure, though I've been to both Russia and to China. I've not been to Japan, but I've been to both Russia and China. And I don't know what the problem is, frankly. And as far as the Indian economy is not doing well, I think the president is ill-informed. The president is ill-informed. We are the fastest growing economy in the world. The World Bank says it, IMF says it, JP Morgan says it, Ernst & Young says it, PricewaterhouseCoopers says it. Everybody and his uncle is saying that Indian economy is the fastest growing large economy on planet Earth. What else do you require? I don't know. 10 years back, we were the 10th largest economy. Today, we are the 5th largest economy. Within 2-3 years, we'll become the 3rd largest economy. What does this guy want, Joe Biden? I think he's talking nonsense here. I think the President of the United States has lost his marbles. Coming to another factor, saying that we welcome immigrants. I just want to tell you that, one of the triggers, I'm not saying all of them are like that because that is not true, but one of the triggers for violence in France last year was illegal immigrants. The reason why UK is sending thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants to Rwanda, and it's going to start the process in another 2-3 weeks, is simply because they are saying that their economy and their society cannot sustain the constant and consistent influx of illegal immigrants into UK. France is screaming, Germany is screaming, Portugal is screaming, the entire European continent is absolutely in tears. They don't know how to manage illegal immigrants coming out of Africa, coming out of Asia, coming out of other places, the Middle East. They don't know how to handle them. So what I'm trying to tell, you see, you want to pander to a certain section of the population because you're raising funds. That's absolutely all right. You're a politician. Joe Biden is a politician. He can do that. But to point out at India, you can point out to any other country in the world and we don't care, frankly. But when you point out at India and then you say that our economy is suffering, I mean, what is Joe Biden smoking? Our economy is suffering. Our economy, the Indian economy, is growing faster than the American economy. How is it suffering? I don't know. The purchasing power parity has climbed up here, has risen exponentially. It's still pretty low, by the way. It needs to rise much, much more and it will take time. But a lot of work has been put in. So this entire issue about, commenting that they are not doing well because of immigration, I'm sorry. And honestly, we don't need immigrants here. America, American couples, they don't have so many children now. We are a country of 1.4 billion. Why in God's name do we need immigrants? We have scientists, we have doctors, we have engineers, we have artists, we have sports persons, we have astronauts. We have the finest engineers in the world. Why in God's name would India need immigrants? For what? America is a massive country with a low population. Maybe you need immigrants. We don't need immigrants at all. I'm not saying they're not welcome. That's another thing. Everybody's welcome. Right? But please don't put down your economic success or America's economic success to immigration. Immigration could be a factor. India is economically very successful. It's an economic powerhouse. Everybody from the US, all the US companies are in India. Do you think companies like GE, companies like Lockheed Martin, companies like American Express, Nike, I mean, you name an American company and it has got some sort of an office or manufacturing unit in India. Why would they come to India if India was xenophobic and did not welcome people? I think this is something that, I think this time Joe Biden has spoken as usual through his hat. Despite predictions of a global economic slowdown in 2024, India's economy is projected to grow at a robust 6.8%. In spite of a global slowdown, 6.8%. You see, a steady 27% of Americans say the most important problem facing the US is immigration, topping Gallup's open-ended trend for the third consecutive month, the longest stretch for a particular issue in the past 24 years. The Washington-based DC analytics firm and advisory firm said. Analytics and advisory firm, Gallup. The International Monetary Fund's forecast various growth rates across economies, ranging from a modest 0.9% in developed economies like Japan to a robust 6.8% in developing nations like India. IMF also predicts a growth rate of 2.7% for the United States, a slight improvement from its 2.5% rate previous year. So the US is growing at 2.7%, we are growing at 6.8%, and we are the bad guys. Okay? The US is growing at 2.7%, we are growing at 6.8%, we are growing more than twice the speed of the US. But we are the guys who are failing, apparently. Concerns about irregular immigration have escalated, becoming a prominent issue for US voters ahead of the upcoming presidential elections, and this is exactly what I'm saying. President Biden has actively pursued alliances with countries like Japan and India to counter global influences of nations such as China and Russia. So, People of the United States of America, while they have welcomed immigration in the past, many of them are themselves, the vast majority of them are immigrants. They're also saying no to illegal immigration. There is a housing crisis in New York because you've taken over hotels and put illegal immigrants there. There are places in America where you can't walk, it's so unsafe. You have crime, you have substance abuse, you have illegal immigrants. America is crumbling here. And I think when Trump says make America great again, one of the things he's saying is that you're welcome to become a citizen of the United States. But there is a certain procedure. And I feel there should be qualifications for any country here, whether it's India, whether it's US. You want to become a citizen of India or even the United States of America. The US is, currently the only superpower in the world, both economic and military, and it can choose. That America chooses to get Palestinians, this is what will happen to your campuses. The Watermelon Coalition that I've been talking about for the past few days. The Watermelon Coalition is what will happen to you. So that's all I have to say. I mean, I'm very surprised by the comments of the US President Joe Biden saying that India's economy is suffering because India is xenophobic and India does not want immigrants. Of course, immigrants are welcome. What we do not like or want are illegal immigrants. Now for question and answers, ladies and gentlemen, this Partha is saying, to what extent is it true? I don't know, but analysts in US are predicting some type of crash, and West China prices of housing items and food are highly deflated and consumption is very low. Where do you see the economy worldwide, and how vulnerable or strong is our ecosystem to withstand some type of global washout, something similar during COVID lockdown? Jai Hind, Partha. Partha ji, I think our economy is pretty resilient and we are doing a lot. India, there's a lot of domestic consumption in India, which helps stabilize our economy, and our exports are solid. So I think things are looking up as far as India is concerned, and for the next 1 year, the World Bank has said that India will grow at 6.8%. So that is the growth rate forecasted for India. So we are the largest growing or fastest growing large economy in the world. So I don't think it's a problem for India. Could be a problem for the US and other countries, certainly not for India. I think we are pretty much insulated. Dr. Harshil Mehta says, Vande Mataram, sir. Vande Mataram, Dr. Harshil. Which is more dangerous for India's internal security? Radical Islamist terrorism, communism, liberalism or Naxalism? What would be the reason for them in interlinkages as far as the agenda against Bharat is concerned? What kind of antibiotic dose is needed to eradicate them from root? Dr. Harshil Mehta, see, basically, individually they are not very dangerous. Individually they are not very dangerous. Like even when there was hardcore terrorism happening in Kashmir, radical Islamist terrorism happening in Kashmir, what actually hurt India was the way these people were projected as some sort of heroes in Delhi by New Delhi's party set, the Lutyens Delhi party set. They were projecting these guys as some sort of heroes. That is the problem, the marriage of convenience between the left and radical Islamists. That is the most dangerous. Naxals and all, they'll go away. We'll make sure they disappear. That's not a problem. And what kind of antibiotic dose is, you need to have a system by which you expose these people constantly. I'm going to take out a video possibly tomorrow or day after, in which I'll speak at length about, how media organizations are funded by enemy countries, and they actually get to work trying to, vitiate your society, put poison in the minds of the young, all through the media, because people, they say, we read it in the media, we read it in a newspaper, and you don't know where that news is coming from and what is the intent of publishing that news. So that is also happening in India. I'll try to do a video on it either tomorrow or day after. No, tomorrow is Saturday, so tomorrow I'll be doing a live, but I'll ensure that on Sunday you get to see this video. Shakti Keswan, Jai Hind Major. Jai Hind, Shakti ji. The West and possibly China are funding radical leftist and Islamist militants in India, Kashmir, Khalistani separatists and Maoists. Are there any separatist groups we can take advantage of within China or Western countries? Should we take advantage of their fault lines just like China took advantage of our fault lines? Of course we should. There is no doubt about it. There is no asking. Of course we should. We should take advantage of everybody's fault lines. America is not a very reliable friend. America is not a reliable friend. right? We should hammer the life out of China. And there are so many fault lines in China. I'll do a separate video on this, I promise, in the near future. Not right now, maybe a couple of weeks down. I'll try and do a video on the fault lines in China. What does it mean to have fault lines in China, and how can India take advantage of these fault lines? So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video. And if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.